everybody, it's Jody here and welcome to the Nook. So today when I was trying to figure out what kind of video I wanted to film for you guys, I actually just took the time to look through my own YouTube search history lately to see what I was looking for. And the thing that popped up the most, much to, well, not really, shouldn't be to my surprise, was actually palette videos. I have sort of an obsession with eyeshadow palettes. So I have a lot more here than any one person could ever use in a lifetime or need. I'm gonna just put that out there. It's a bit of a collector's item for me. I love them. I love the packaging. I love the products. Eyeshadows. Love them. So why don't we just get into it? I have a couple sort of quad kind of items that I figured I may as well throw in there because I don't have very many of those. So let's just get started. So one of my favorite kind of eyeshadows is actually ColourPop eyeshadows. I have two of the quads from them. I have the Kathleen Lights Where the Light Is and the Kathleen Lights Where the Night Is. These are both amazing. I love ColourPop shadows. These are absolutely no exception. They're beautiful, they're gorgeous, and of course I love Kathleen Lights. Anything that has her name or her stamp of approval is an A++ winner for me. These shadows are absolutely gorgeous. If you can still get your hands on them, I highly recommend them. If you like ColourPop shadows, these are a great one to your collection or a great addition to the ones you already have. You won't go wrong. I only have one little Clinique palette. It's this little guy right here. Oh jeez, I'm flashing ya. This one came out with sort of an an eyeliner, mascara sort of set. I don't even know what this one is called, to be honest with you. All About Shadow Quad, that's all it calls it. So we're gonna go with that. That's good enough for me. The next one I have is the Makeup Geek Manny MUA palette. I love Manny MUA. He's one of my favorite YouTubers. Here is the packaging itself. Super beautiful. Love, love, love it. Great big mirror in the front. And here's the shadows. I haven't owned this one very long, so as you can see, I'm just starting to kind of work on it a bit. We'll see how it goes. I'm really enjoying it though. That red one, Mars, is just absolute amazeballs. Amazeballs. Can't go wrong with that one. I do have a couple, I only have two palettes from the Sephora collection. One of them is actually the Overcast Sephora Filter palette. That's this guy right here. It's got a big mirror. I've had this for a little while, so I've gotten quite a bit of love out of this. This palette's hit and miss for most people. I do really like it. If you guys would like to see a full review on this palette, I will link it down below. There's quite a few palettes in here that I have done a review on. So in the info, I will leave just a great big list of all of them so you guys can go and look and see if there's any that you're interested more in depth or swatches of. The next one I have is the Sephora collaboration with Minnie Mouse, Minnie's World in Color. I just recently posted a video on this guy with full swatches and everything. This is kind of a hit and miss palette for me, but overall it's one I'm super glad to have in my collection. I don't care that she's bulky, she's cute as pie, and I love her so very much. Alright, so another one that I have that I just recently got, you guys would have seen in my last sort of haul video, is I got one of the Marc Jacobs Style Icon 7 palettes, and I got this one in the Starlit. If you guys can see the pop of green on my eyes today, that was all this bad boy right here. I mixed her with a couple other palettes, and so far I am absolutely adoring this, and I want to get my hands on all of them because it's fantastic. This is the only Marc Jacobs eyeshadow palette that I actually have. I do have one from Stila, and only one. This is one of the Eyes of the Window. Sorry, this is going to flash you guys so freaking bad. Eyes of the Window to the Soul. I really enjoy this palette. I've had it for a little while now. You can see the colors there. I believe I did do a full review on this one. It is an impressive palette. The quality in here is great. They blend awesome. There's some shimmers, there's some satins, there's some mattes. It's just all around a pretty palette. Can you guys tell I get a little too excited about palettes? I can't even, like, contain myself. I sound like an idiot. Okay, so I do have a couple of Makeup Forever eyeshadow palettes. Most of my Makeup Forever eyeshadows, I do have quite a few, but they're individuals, which is not what I'm showing you guys today. I'm not getting into all my Z palette stuff because we'll be here all day. This is the first palette I ever bought from Makeup Forever. This was called the Artist Palette 8 shadows? Yeah, 8 shadow palette. These are all shimmer palettes. shimmer palettes. There is one matte in this little sucker. He's right over here. The rest of these are all glorious shimmers. I absolutely adore this little palette. I will take one of my super matte palettes with me when I travel and then pop this little guy right in there, and I've got hints of all color, brightness, shimmer to take with me. They do live up to the full-size Makeup Forever pans. They are fantastic shadows. I don't know if you can still get this guy. I know it's not sold in Sephora stores, but I got mine online, so I probably should look that up. But if you guys have never checked this out, this is a great, like, just shimmery pop of color palette, especially for traveling because it's so compact and tiny. One of the other ones I did get the Makeup Forever Artist 9 shadow palette, and I believe this one is number 2. I don't know, I think it's the number 2 because it's the one with all the crazy pops of color. This palette, once again, it's Makeup Forever. It's beautiful quality eyeshadows. As you guys can see, there's a few in here that I got a lot of love out of for like some bright hints of color. But as far as some of the, like this little guy, I don't think I've hardly used her at all. Oh, but she's so pretty. I should ignore her. All right, I gotta whip this one out. I gotta pull this one back out. It's springtime. These bright colors, I'll be able to get away with wearing them a little bit more right now. So, moving right along. Okay, so I do have a couple Tarte palettes. I do have the Tarte Empower Flower palette. That's this sucker right here. It's a mix of eyeshadows. You got 8 eyeshadows there. You got a bronzer. Well, I guess it's supposed to be like sort of a bronzer and 2 blushes. The bronzer in here is way too hella shimmery for me. I have a full review on this palette. This isn't one of my favorites, but I do hang on to it for the simple fact that it is a great reference point for any of my new Tarte products, so I can compare them to the old formula. So this sucker won't be going anywhere, and besides, when I look in the drawer, this has adorable packaging, so I keep it. The next one that I have, and this one is a hit and miss for a lot of people, that's the Tarte Tartelette palette. This is the original one. I do not have the Tartelette in Bloom. I really like this palette. Here it is here. Some of the shades can be a little bit powdery. Sorry, try to tilt it a little bit so we don't shine as bad. Some of the shadows in here can be very powdery. The black is not the blackest black in the world. However, I am going to tell you, this Natural Beauty shade right here, I use it all the time. It is an awesome transition shade for my skin tone. I have very pigmented lids. I really like this palette. I have really no complaints about it. It is a little overly powdery, but yeah, whatever. The packaging's pretty. And the last one from Tarte that I have is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea palette. I believe I did a full review on this guy. I am in love with this palette. I am absolutely in love with this palette. It's got gorgeous shimmery shades. There's a little bit of, well, not really glitter, but there's some high impact shimmers in here. We got some more matte, kind of neutrals, nice transitions. I have not traveled with this yet, but this is definitely going to be one that travels with me. It's a nice compact size. You can do daytime looks, you can do nighttime looks, you can keep it simple, you can make it as complicated as you want with this little palette. And there are 8 shadows in there, but there are 8 shadows that work amazingly well together. So that's cool. All right. Are you guys bored? I don't want this to be super long, and one of the things that I always hate watching palette videos is they open up the palette, tell you about it, and then they don't show you the packaging. So I'm trying to show you guys the packaging of every one. I'm going to get into, oh, what do we got here? Oop, I have a few sort of independent on their own palettes that I'll bring out. One of these ones, I love this palette, and this is the Balm Rockstar palette. This one, I guess, was kind of a big deal a few years ago. I haven't owned it that long. The Balm makes beautiful shadows. I think they're a little neglected. I haven't used this palette near enough. It does have, oh, sorry, the actual packaging looks just like the cardboard case, which, yes, I do always keep the cardboard case that they come in, and I always put them back in because I'm weird like that. It has these beautiful eyeshadows in here. We do have a highlighter, and we do have a blush, which I don't really use, and the bottom flips open down here to reveal 2 lipsticks. But the names on these are so adorable. They blend amazingly, and I definitely, this is the only palette I have from the Balm. Like I said, I'm weird. I keep the cardboard sleeves that they all come in. I know. I'm strange. I definitely want to get my hands on more of those, though, because they're fantastic. They're great. I really like them. Here's a palette that cost me a shit ton of money. I think it was 90 bucks when it first came out. And it's one I never use. Oh, I feel so bad, but I just find that this palette is too much work. And I never grab it to make a full look. Now, this is probably going to shine the heck out of you guys, so warning. I'm going to try and cover it. Okay, there we go. Okay, so this is the NARS Narcissist, and this is the Dual Intensity Blush Set. Has a big mirror in the top, and then here, I said Dual Intensity Blush. Dual Intensity Eyeshadow Palette. Wow! Here's the colors here. I find that these colors, because they are dual intensity, they are so much more impactful and beautiful when they are wetted, especially with Fix Plus. I find that using them dry, I'm just not that impressed with them. So this is something where if I want a specific color that I can give a high impact with, I will reach for it and grab it for a specific color, but I never use it all at once. So she gets a little less love than she should, especially for her big ass price tag. Big ass. Here's a palette that I do get a lot of love out of. While it's not my favorite shadows in the whole wide world, I find that this palette is really great when I want to put zero thought into it. I want something simple. This is an awesome palette, and this is the MAC 15 Warm Neutral palette. I do like MAC shadows. Do I think MAC shadows are the best on the market? Absolutely not. I'm not even going to say that they aren't, but MAC has some absolutely amazing colors. They've got some really iconic shades out there. This one right over here is probably one of my most used. A very little goes a long way, so it doesn't look as used as it actually is. It's dusty and dirty as all hell because I use it a lot. I do like this palette. It's not my favorite, but I'm more than happy to have it. I do. I love it. It's great. It's great. Okay, let's get into something else. Okay, so I gotta get this big guy off of this table because it's causing problems. Like, I'm just waiting for my stacks to fall over. They haven't yet. Kat Von D shadows are one of my all-time favorites. My top 3, like, Sephora higher-end brand of eyeshadows that I've tried and owned, Kat Von D is up there in the top 3. I waver between which one is my favorite, so I left these 3 brands to last. I got this, and I was more than stoked to get it, and I got the Kat Von D My Vida Loca palette. This is a treasured item in my collection. I love her beyond words so much. While this isn't a palette that I grab for all the time because of these crazy bright amazing colors, the pigment and quality of these shadows is just, I mean, you can't argue with it. This palette is a lot more versatile than it actually looks because of this center. Sorry, it's kind of hard to hold up and talk about it at the same time. Because of this center ring with these neutrals, some of these shades in here can work really good for a brighter sort of crease color, anything like that. If you're brave, a lot of the time, to be honest with you, I'm not brave enough to do a full look with this, but for my bright pops of color and when I'm feeling it, oh baby, she's a favorite. Oh, I love her so much. I love her so much. My Vida Loca. Okay. That is a limited edition palette. I do have quite a few that are limited edition, actually. You put limited edition in front of something and I go a little ham. One of the newer ones I have from Kat Von D is I got one of the little Shade and Light eye quads. I got the color Sage. I've only used this little sucker once, but these colors in here are amazing. In particular, this shade right here. This one right here. It is like a greigey kind of color in the pan, but when you start to work it on your crease, holy Hannah, it's got these olive undertones that are like nothing else in my collection. I know that these are not getting 5-star reviews. This is the only one I own. I love it. I would give it 5 out of 5 stars all over the board. As for the other ones in the range, I don't know, but I love this. What I'm going to show you guys next is a Kat Von D palette. It is the first full-size palette that I ever bought at Sephora. It's the first full-size palette I ever owned. It is never going to leave my collection. If she wears out, I will hunt it down and buy a new one, just because I just love this palette so much, and I don't think it gets enough love out there. I think it is a little neglected, but she's still one of my favorite ones, and it is a Kat Von D Interstellar palette. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, look at that. It's so, I mean, the outside is like, boom, blinga blinga. It's awesome. It's awesome. And this is what she looks like on the inside. So if you are someone who likes mauve tones on your eyes, us green-eyed girls, this palette is for you. This is awesome. This palette is so fantastic. They blend out like a dream. It being one of the first like palettes or higher end or better quality palettes I ever bought. It is super, super user friendly and easy peasy to use. She's a no muss, no fuss palette. Any kind of color or look that you want to get, you can get out of this little sucker. I just love her to death. She's fantastic. I kind of have a love affair with Kat Von D shadows. I'm sorry. While they are not what I would classify as maybe the toppest of top dogs, the toppy top, they are way up there. Okay, here we're down to my last two here. I have Urban Decay and I have the Too Faced palettes. None of these are going to be a shock to you guys. None of them are going to be a surprise. You've seen 100 of them out here. This was the first small palette that I ever bought that was higher end. It is the Urban Decay Naked Basics. She looks like this inside. As you guys can see, I don't get a hell of a lot of use out of it. I find that too many of the tones, I mean, from here that way for the most part, they're all really in that same shade range. I cannot get really good in-depth looks out of this. However, this is one that I will pack with me for my neutrals to go along with. I will pack this guy for my neutrals and pack this guy for my pops of color. And between the two of them and the little amount of space that they take, they're great. If I had a choice to buy this palette again, I wouldn't get this one. I would go for the Naked 2, just because there is a little bit, or the Naked, Urban Decay Naked Basics 2, because there is a little bit more variation in the shades, in the tone. But she's good. She's not bad. There's nothing wrong with the quality. It's just the color selection for me. Alright, here's another one I got from Urban Decay. Is a dog hair stuck to my palette? Do you guys have pets? Do you guys have that problem? My fur babies follow me everywhere. I think I've got it all off and I find it in the randomest of places. So this is the first full-size Naked palette I ever bought, and it is the Naked Smoky palette. I love the packaging on this, that smoky, swirly, so good. Alright, and she looks like this. Whoop. Let's try not to shine it too much. This is an absolutely gorgeous palette. It's got a really nice variety in there, but it really is, like it says, smoky. This is a great palette. I do really, really like it, but you have to really love a smoky eye, I think, to want it. It's nice for me to have somewhere to do a smoky eye where I can get all of those really nice, deep, smoky kind of colors in one spot without having to pull all over the place. So I have no regrets about that. Here's one of my new purchases. I don't know why I do this every time I get excited. I'm sorry, I am talking 100 miles a minute, but I just love palettes so much. Okay, so this is the newest baby in my collection from Urban Decay. It is the Naked 3. I just got this during the VIP Rouge sale. You guys will notice these babies are still in really good shape because I haven't really had a lot of time to dig my brush into them. They're gorgeous. I love them. I have played with them. This palette is probably going to be one of my top dogs. I do not have the Naked 1. I do not have the Naked 2. I don't have the Naked 2 because I'm not, the colors in it just don't get my zhuzh going. I don't really even know what that means, but they don't really get me going. Naked 1, packaging is a total fail for me. Anything that sloughs off like that and the lettering comes off, every ones I see look so janky. I don't care how pretty the palette looks inside. With that fuzz all over the top of it, it just looks so unsanitary to me, and there's no way for me to wipe it off. Okay, so the next Urban Decay and the last Urban Decay palette that I have was a limited edition one. It is still out there. It's still for sale. You can still get your hands on it, so it wasn't that limited edition. But it's this sucker right here. This is the Gwen Stefani eyeshadow palette. Once again, flashing the hell out of you guys. So sorry. When I first saw this online with the little circles, I didn't think much of it. This packaging on here is so skookum. And then it has these gorgeous colors. Oh, okay. Sorry if I'm holding this a little bit funny. I'm doing so that I don't blind you with the flash. I know a lot of people were hit and miss about this palette because of the color choices. The way I kind of look at it is Gwen Stefani designed it as something that she would wear and she would use. She's a pasty white fair girl, as am I. They worked fantastic for me. They were in true Urban Decay eyeshadow style. There was nothing lacking in them. The product itself inside was great, but I can see why some people were disappointed. Just I was not. Okay, so now we're on to my last 4 palettes, and they're Too Faced. All of these you guys will have seen before, so I'm not going to go into any detail. This is probably, and I've heard a lot of other people say it, I totally agree, so I've got to say the same thing. If I had to tell somebody who was new to makeup the #1 palette that they should buy, the one and only that they would need until they were ready to expand their collection, what should they get? And it would be this bad boy right here, just like everybody else says. There's a reason everybody's saying this. This is the Chocolate Bar palette. It smells like chocolate, so that is fantastic, but the colors inside are wonderful. These colors, the consistency of these colors is great. I have no problem with a kick up. They go on like a dream. They last a long time. There's enough shades and variety in here that you could do a somewhat cool tone look, a warm tone look. You could spice it up with some sparkle. You could go out on the town. You could smoke it up with some of these dark colors. This is definitely a staple and a base palette for anyone's collection. So if you're looking for the one and only, the one that you need to get to start off, I would say that this is one you could lay your money down on and not have any problems with. It's great for beginners because it's very, very easy use and you won't regret it. You can come back and tell me thanks for the tip. The next one that I bought this one. I do not especially like the packaging. I am not a hearts person, but the colors in this one just get my mojo going and I love it so much, and it's this sucker right here. This is the Too Faced Chocolate Bomb Bomb palette. This came out holiday of 2015. Oh my god. Once again, it smells like chocolate. Here's the inside. Beautiful, beautiful colors. This one gives us a few little more pops, a few little more dramatic sort of shimmery glimmer shades, but we've still got those nice mid-tone sort of transition shades. There's some nice highlight shades, some shimmers, some glimmers, oh my god. I will take this palette and use it on its own, or I will take this one and mash it up and use them together. I think they work beautifully. I like the colors together, look very nice. Well done, Too Faced. This is my second to last palette. This palette I got last spring. I was absolutely obsessed with it for the pops of color. I love it, I love it, I love it. This is probably on my top list of favorites for pop of color because it's nice and simple and easy to use. I got the Too Faced Sugar Pop palette. I'm a packaging whore. It's covered in colorful little macaroons. It just did it for me. I love the macaroons. So, it's that nice tin packaging. We open it up. I sell the Sugar Pop. The Sugar Pop card in here. It's got absolutely gorgeous. Here, I can flip this one around the right way. Amazing, wonderful pops of colors. This aqua down here, I just loved to almost death. This hot pink was gorgeous. This peachy tone one up here. Just beautiful. I actually didn't get much use out of the big pans on the side because this was always the palette that I grabbed for a little extra something something. I really liked using these pops of color in my inner corner last summer. I was all over that weird trend. I don't care if people are doing it this year. I'll probably end up doing it again. This is such a cute, amazing, amazing palette. It's tarty and sturdy and great for traveling. Alright guys, and we are on to my last palette. I know. Oh, I gotta stretch it out. I know I have way too many. I did get the Sweet Peach palette. When I first got it, I went, it doesn't really smell like peaches. I found the trick. It does smell like peaches, but when you start to use the product and you get your brush in there, that peach smell comes through so much more. It's not as powerful as the Chocolate Bar palette by any means. When you open it for a little while, the smell kind of dissipates, but when you first open it up, you get that smell. When you start rubbing your fingers in there, You can smell it. It's great. It's a beautiful palette. I love it. I have no complaints about the quality, about the color selection. I know some people were saying that it should have had more peach in it. To me, this has all different kinds of gradient of peach. I guess it depends on how you define peach and how that goes in. That was it for my eyeshadow palettes. Oh, I am going to put a big list. There's quite a few of them in here that I have done a review on. Not all of them, but there's a few of them. I will definitely leave a link in the description bar below if you'd like to see swatches and further thoughts and things on any of these. If you guys have seen any palettes that I'm super missing out on and should have, because God knows I'm gonna buy more of them, even though I don't need them. I'm going to buy more of them. Please let me know which ones I should go and get my hands on. If you guys, tell me your feelings about the Too Faced Sweet Peach, about this limited edition and them now announcing that they're gonna make enough for everybody. Let me know what you think down below. Are you in the same boat as me where you're like, but I worked so hard to get it, now everybody gets it? Yeah. Or if you're the fat going, oh my god, I missed it, I have a chance to get it now because I wanted it super bad. I feel sort of on the fence about it. I feel guilty that I'm bummed out that other people have it. I know that's rude. It's a mean thing to say, but it's just kind of how I feel about it. Let me know down below how you guys feel about it. If you guys have any of the same palettes, let me know which one's your favorite. If there's any I don't have a review on that you want a review on, please let me know in the comments down below. If you guys enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up. Share it if you think anybody else would like to see my ridiculous collection of palettes. And as always, guys, thank you ever so much for stopping by, and I will see you all next time.